Morning guys, Moon here. Today I want to talk about a very extremely important topic in Path of Exile 2, and that's weapon swapping. A lot of people don't like weapon swapping, and I in this video will show you why that is not a good idea. Weapon swapping is extremely strong in Path of Exile 2 and something every single character should do, and I say every single one. I don't make a single exception here, because you basically throw away potential of, well, being way stronger and having basically to do nothing different aside from your first setup. As you can see here, for example, I have 7 skills on my toolbar, which 3 of which are on my second swap and 3 on my first. When I now use them, you basically see no real difference in which one I am using, and it doesn't, well, like, there's a very slight delay between weapon swapping, but other than just pressing the skill, I don't have to do anything. And the difference is huge. The difference currently is 20 skill points of, well, increased effect of whatever skill I am using, which is insane. Basically, you're wasting a quarter of your skill tree if you're not using weapon swapping. And I quickly show how you set up your weapon swapping. Well, first of all, what you need is to activate your skills in the right weapon. For example, I am using Contagion, Essence Drain, and Dark Effigy on my first weapon slot, which means here on the extended tooltip, I'm only activating the first checkbox. So whenever I'm using the skill, I'm automatically swapping into my first weapon. Then on actually Archmage also, another thing, you can reserve auras just on one weapon swap. So Archmage actually only is active when I'm in my first weapon swap to activate my totems. Then we have Convalescence only on second swap. This is extremely important for Convalescence because you always want it on this spec you're not using as much. Because Convalescence actually, while on the second weapon swap, I can use it on my first weapon swap without using without swapping weapons. So there is actually no animation for swapping on Convalescence, because Convalescence is the aura, and the aura grants a skill. And the skill always is there even when I am not on the weapon where I'm reserving the spirit for Convalescence. This might get fixed in the future, but maybe it's there to stay, we don't know. But currently you can just reserve 30 spirit on your not used weapon swap for Convalescence and have a free recharge start, which is very, very strong. Though I wouldn't be surprised if this gets fixed at some point. Then I have the Spare and Temporal Chains on my second swap, which is and the Switch of Power, which you activate by picking only the second checkbox. Pretty much all of your skills, or most of your skills, should only be available for one of these, because you should always use the tree that is strong with it. And you can see it doesn't take long for me to weapon swap here already. And if you are at the bottom side of the tree, you can, with your unpreferred set, which you're mostly using for buffing and stuff like that, you can get up to a 90% weapon swap speed to swap back to your main hand. So this you can just pick up with some points. And I just want to show a couple of things you can do with weapon swapping, which is extremely strong. For example, I'm having a lot of AoE and curse magnitude on my weapon swap. So if you see my temporal chains here, when I am on my where is it? On my weapon swap here, temporal chains, you can see the AoE here. It's quite big. And now you can see it gets there's weapon swap. Well, it should get smaller, actually. Yeah, you see it's bigger, but also the stronger. It's not as visible here because I'm not hitting breakpoints well, but generally you can increase AoE. Was kind of a bad example, but generally you're getting a lot of stuff. For example, for my curses, I'm getting a lot of AoE and curse magnitude. And for my totems, I'm getting totem life, totem cast speed, and stuff like that, and some other stuff like chaos damage here. And yeah, you're getting the gist of it. And this is like not even close to what you can do. In the comments or in the description, I will link this Reddit thread, because in this one there's a lot of comments showing a lot of ideas, especially for Shock on the Huntress, which a lot of people are using right now. And overall, there's like tons of great ideas for what you can do with it. Like this one, Mark Effect, Element Magnitude, CC, Zero Single Target. All of this stuff is like extremely strong. And for example, even just weapon swapping for skill. I currently am using chiming stuff in my offhand to grant me Sigil of Power, which is a buff that just for using the weapon swap basically, because this always is active when I was in there once, it gives 14% more spell damage per stage, and I'm getting like 4 stages easily. So just using this weapon swap basically gives me 56% more damage single target when I'm casting Sigil of Power. So it's insane. Also, another thing, when you see my mana recovery, currently I'm having 260, and in my weapon swap I'm having 312. Actually, this was not my weapon swap. In my weapon swap I have 470. I was confused there, but it was because I did change this here. So 260 versus 390 and more when my Arcane Surge procs. So like the amount of things you can do with weapon swapping is just insane. And I would gladly say experiment around with it. It really is not as much of a big deal as people think. Just get your setups correct, and then you basically have to do nothing in there. Just pick your right weapon set, whichever you want to use, get the points for these sets. Important here is with the weapon sets, you can neither get jewel sockets nor keystones. So whenever you travel through a keystone or a jewel socket, you will have to do so with your main skill point. That's like one drawback there is, but you have to pass there anyway. So yeah, that's an important thing to keep in mind, that you cannot pick those with your weapon specific points. But yeah, this is everything I want to talk about. If you have ideas for what you can do with weapon swapping, leave them down in the comments. I gladly hear what you cooked up, because there's infinite options and I'm far from knowing all of them. So I just want to give some examples instead of trying to make a list, because if I make a list here, it cannot be like really be for everyone. So mostly I just wanted to say, be creative, try to experiment around with it, and utilize the system. It's broken. This system is what makes a good character to a very good character, or what makes a lacking character to an actually decent character. You can do so much with it, and please experiment around. If this video was helpful to you, feel free to stay tuned, watch the next one, and for that, subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.